of us perception shape the familiar cultural history background. That also means like each of us, we see one thing is one object, we only can see part because we have certain position you stand. Then my question is, how can we be aware the part you didn't see yet? It is there, but because our position, because we cannot see the rest. Then, but I also don't know what are the invisible things. But I'm questioning, how can you wondering something beyond the you know?
Hi everyone, I'm the curator of the Only I Am You, Then I Became You. This is the solo exhibitions by Jiajia Qi.
Hi everyone, my name is Jiajia Qi. I'm a Chinese artist based in Netherlands.
So here we are. The exhibition opening almost around the corner. How do you feel now?
I feel nervous, but I'm super exciting. I'm so looking forward to see all the pieces come together. Also to see how the audience will interact with it.
So Only I Am You, Then I Become You. For this title, to me, is invoke a kind of like the Eastern Asians, like the romanticism, and it's mystic, and also kind of like somewhere between like a presence and absent. So how did we just come together to this title? Do you want to share this story?
I didn't really think about what kind of message the title was sent. I just like interesting how the sentence itself build like a kind of personal and intimacy feeling. But at the same time, when you dig into this sentence, it seems nothing there. It's just like when we talk about how to translate this title into Chinese, we found that there are no right or accurate word for this. I think that is a very interesting part, but this is also similar to the rest of the whole show. It's about feeling and how people free experience it, but they do not send a clear message. I also expect when people enter this show, they feel like, oh, they feel something, they aware something, but they don't have the correct word to it, what it is.
When we just discussed this title things, because like for me it's really matched with like the artwork of your show as well. The feelings that actually you can not translate it into the Chinese. If you just like analyze for each word, you cannot feel like exactly what you try to express. For this show, you're actually talking about nomadism. So can you explain more about this concept?
I study the theory of nomadism from Deleuze and Guattari. They are the French philosophy. Then for me, the interesting part is they talk about nomadism is about moving beyond the rigid framework and is continue to move someone somewhere you do not know yet. It's about how to continue moving without the decision and without end. Each piece don't have the really exactly identity. It's just about how you from here move there, the process itself, and about how you adapt the situation rather than you make something happening. So it's about be there, but not really about actually take the space.
And we know each other for a very long time, more than 10 years. So I still remember that you told me you gonna become to the art students, and then that kid will be the professional artist. I totally understand how like those theories just like affect you, and I mean your personal experience also shaped this concept a lot. So can you also share some stories behind that?
During my study time, I realized like what I'm doing here in Holland, I'm learning is start with understand, observe, listening, and learning how the surrounding and how the way the foreign country, how they living and the communication. Then I can put my thoughts into the language. It can adapt to all of us perception, shape the familiar cultural history background. That also means like each of us, we see one thing is one object, we only can see part because we have certain position you stand. Then my question is, how can we be aware the part you didn't see yet? It is there, but because our position, because we cannot see the rest. Then, but I also don't know what are the invisible things. But I'm questioning, how can you wondering something beyond the I'm minority. Then you also kind of know the gap between where you come from and where you living now. I think to understand the boundary, the gap is my actually art looking for.
And you also mentioned like the language part in your early education age takes a really important part in doing this journey, right?
Yeah, also was very inspired by Deleuze talk about Kafka.
Yeah.
That time, especially during the COVID, I just realized, this is really the theory for me. Kafka, he's Jewish and grew up in Prague, but he used German. So his German is different to German. His German is the minor literature. And then he have found a way then to against the standard and the majority and create something new. Then from the language, understand how like the people not speak their own language. They, of course, they get limit, but at the same time, they get the freedom to reconstruct what the language can be.
And also your exhibition actually didn't just have the fixed answers for the viewers, right? It's more like the open up the space to let the people feel it by themselves, right? So how can you just balance about like the meaning and also uncertainty?
Yeah, I think everything you said come out, it's just fair somehow. Because when you say something, it means something behind that you didn't see yet. That's also, I think, meaning, at least for me, it's not that important. It's, I think, more about how to wondering and aware. Then that's why I think uncertainty is very important. Because, for example, for me, the work, when I know the work is already there, it's finished my part of job, is I saw the work start interactive and create their own way to interactive with the giving space. Also, I saw when the audience to engaged. That time, I think the work really there. That's also mean when I finish my part, it's just the whole project just start.
So after like the December's residency in Chiang Mai, and you came here actually in July to start to set up. So all your artwork actually is kind of like site specific. So how the site specific take roles in your art?
Quarter, then also to do with how the giving space and how the time and the space grow together. For me, it's like you make a work, it's just like growing a plants in somewhere. I first get the space, for example, in SAC, then I think about what kind of plants, the seeds I can grow here. The piece can be like this. It is what it is because to do with this space, this temperature, this time, and with who will be the one to grow this work, and also like later how the audience to interactive it. Yeah, I do believe different place audience, they perceive same work will be differently. Then the work itself also will grow in differently.
Yeah, so I remember we changed the floor plan for several times.
Yeah.
Like more than 3 times.
Yeah.
And there's one work, we actually just changed the floors actually from the 3rd floor to the 2nd floor.
Yeah.
Was that works?
Yeah, you mean the Badaan.
Yeah, and we also actually changed the whole artwork looks like, right?
Yeah.
I think you get the inspiration from your new house.
That it's very near. It's just from the water. That's the first time I saw water in different time and different weather, how the water changed. Yeah. And of course, we all know water. We know river, lake. But when you really saw it every day, I saw something I think I know, but I didn't know. But I think that's so interesting. That's why I want to catch this moment. Yeah, I saw how the daylight, night light, train light reflect on the water, also make how the wind, rain move the texture of the water. So I think this is how the start of the project. But somehow when we start to really build it, maybe there's something in the beginning, I think it's there, it's not there. So gradually, I think maybe I can put a more layer about what means water movement.
Yeah, we talk about like the positions of your artworks is kind of maybe more like a site specific one, and also materials. Do you have any specific special materials you use for these exhibitions? You have a particularly preferred like what kind of the material you want to use for your exhibition?
For this show, I bring the research material. I start work with the hydromedian Renzi in Germany. So also for me, the first time try such organic material.
Yes.
Is actually called a carbonate. Is a material which in Germany they use to soft water because normally in the water too hard for human being to drink. So you need to balance the pH to make it drinkable. I like the material because the whiteness it have and how special the way they work with water. But then when I do more research, then I start to work with other chemical stuff. I realize this material can make a crystal. Which means my research, like Renzi in Chiang Mai time, I realized there's something in Thailand can be alternative material I can work with. Now, so the part of the whole installation, part of material, actually, I work is here. We find here.
Yeah. How do you expect like the audience just come to this show and use their own personal experience to feel this?
I really wish they can feel very free and too interactive and they can enjoy the moment. Also, I think for me, if the possible is like when you see the show, when you don't know what's happening, but later when you home or you go to work, the moment you think about this show, then you find maybe the moment you click with a certain part or moment of the show self. That's, I think, the one I really wish my work can achieve. But also, I don't think my opinion more for the show more important than the audience. For me, it's equal. How they feel the show, how they take it, it is what it is. So how they perceive it, it is what it's about.
Yeah, at the first, we actually started talking about the concept things, but I just don't know how you can just present it out. So I learned a lot from you as well. So I mean, it's really hard for the artist. Actually, you can feel it, but actually how you make the audience can feel it is another big questions that you need to just prepare a lot, and how you can make the common sense, common feelings to make the audience feel the same things.
Because I'm also just one of the audience. So I do believe the moment when you get excited in the work, if I feel excited, I do think the audience will feel also exciting. But also this moment not always happened.
And also for this exhibition, we have 4 new art pieces you actually create out during this whole year. Yeah, and there's another new artwork actually I heard your whole family just working on.
Yeah. I really have to say thank you for my parents because the work I really appreciate, and I have to say thank you, my parents. They did a lot. It's the weight of whisper. I want to make it's like a machine. So I designed 2 machines. They can drop the stuff out to down and make the reflection. But the dreaming I'm trying, I realize I can actually analog way. It's work better.
Yeah.
It's simple but better. But then doing my testing, I realized there need a certain size and shape. But then I was testing at home. My father said why you work too much? Let me help you. Because my parents actually is from Ningbo, is sitting next to Shanghai, is a city famous for have a lot of factory. So then they this easy, they can do it. So they tried with different factory, even they have a factory helping make the laser cutter and make the molds, and she tried different machine to cut the size I want, but it's not working. So in the end, my father was at home with my mom. They spend their amounts to do it. Yeah, and they don't know what it's about, but they worked very hard.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay, thank you so much for sharing so much information about this exhibition. And thank you again for the trust and we worked together for this concept and a whole year, more than 1 year.
Yeah, more than 1 year.
More than 1 year.
Thank you. Yeah.
I remember a lot of like the talks at night and just like shared each other's lives as well. Thank you so much.
And thank you for sharing time with us. We invite you to join our exhibitions. We also thank you all of our sponsors, SAC Gallery, the Mondrian Fund, the Prince Cloud, and the Embassy of the Netherlands in Thailand. Thank you for all your support.